Hi, and welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and I have been at our homeschool community day all day today, so I'm a little bit out of the loop, but it looks like even in our live chat and our community is on top of it. Things are happening, guys. So stay with us, give us a like, share this video. Let's get the information out there, get everybody caught up to speed, including myself, and I'll be right back with my friend Amy Fulmer right after this. Wow. Hey, Amy, it looks like breaking news all over the place. Glasswalker posting in the chat. You're trying to catch me up before we even get started. Hit some of the highlights and let me know what's going on.
Well, nickel had to hit the limit up, like they had to bring in the circuit breakers. I think 2 nights in a row now. And because if you look at it on the chart, it is literally just gone straight up parabolic. And I believe, please don't quote me, but I think Bix said this morning, percentage-wise, it was like 500%. Wow. But I think 2 nights in a row, they had to hit the circuit breakers, limit up. They had to halt trading because it just went parabolic. And what I really feel, you guys, because I know your community, Lisa, and we have been holding, stacking, prepping, since some of us, like me, 2016, 2017, and we've all known where this was going. And what I was looking at this morning, when I was looking at silver, it was so interesting watching it go up and up and up. Yes, it's a small move, but it's a big indicator, because what I was thinking was, as I was watching it go up $1.30, $1.40, $1.50, $1.60, which since I have owned silver, I've never seen it move in that small of a period of time. So what that said to me is, if you're a patient and you're on life support, the doctors come in and they look at the machines before they look at you, because those are indicators. We're looking at indicators that indicate the health of something. When I see moves like this, and trust me, I'm not an expert in silver, but I believe what my gut tells me is this is the beginning of, this is an indicator that something is wrong in the system. And yes, hold your nickels, guys. Hold your change. Don't go put it in one of those machines and get fiat.
Right.
Because those are Federal Reserve notes. But your coins are U.S. Treasury. Those are minted coins. Those will always be money. So hold on to your change, guys. Hold on to your change. But silver went over $27 today. And when I woke up this morning, it was like at 25 something. So it made quite a big move, like 5%. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think it's just the beginning. I mean, ever since all this chaos, but definitely with that triggered news from Russia going to the gold-backed ruble. And then my husband just sent me, hold on one sec, some information right before we jumped on. One sec, sorry. They actually just suspend foreign exchange trading until September.
Right.
So this was some more news. So not only do they now have a gold-backed ruble, now Russia suspends foreign exchange trading until September. So Russian banks are no longer sell foreign currency to citizens. And we have, if you guys didn't see the show yesterday, Omar from Viva Capital and Crypto Confidential was on my show, gave us tons of information about the quantum financial system. And he has people that bank internationally and that move money around with different companies that he works with. And he's talking about how, all of these different countries are no longer using the US dollar, and they're trading, and that all these different countries are setting up baskets of their own assets, and how that's all changing hands now, and what they're using to back their own currencies. Is really amazing conversation. If you haven't seen that, please go back and watch that from yesterday. Really will give you an idea about what we have to come and what you can do to protect your wealth going forward. If you're looking for help or guidance in that, I really recommend joining me in the Crypto Confidential community. You can find my link in the description of this video. They have professionals that can help you get a self-directed IRA, get your assets in your own possession or under your own direction. And they can help you even with your precious metals, all that kind of stuff. So definitely some resources for you to protect you during this time.
Did you hear about the Russian internet? They're creating their own internet as of March 11th. Like, they're going off the main internet system and they're going dark, and then they're going to have their own on the 11th of March. Is that some kind of rumor? Do you have any knowledge of that?
No, it's not the internet. It's the switch. So they've been, sanctioned, and they're going to be off the SWIFT system. And what they're moving to is the Chinese, and I can't remember what it's called. I want to say CRISPR, but I know that's like a, but it's something with those, maybe somebody in the chat can help me with, but basically they're moving to a payments system that is similar or works with the Chinese system, and it's really fast. It's way faster than the SWIFT system, and that's what they're talking about. And that's on the 11th.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Trini. CIPS. That's where I was getting CRISPR. Thank you. CIPS. It's the new system, the CIPS system. Yeah, thank you, Mr. X. And that's on the 11th. So that's a payment system, and it's super fast. And they've been planning for this for a long time. That's why, they're really not worried about it. So, Public does say that Russia is saying that they're going to cut off external internet also. So maybe that's what you're hearing as well.
Yeah, I heard some chatter on that.
Les says it is also the internet.
Okay.
So I guess it's all connected. I don't know.
So what's really interesting about all of this, you guys, is, I'm a lot older than most of you guys are. So I've been through a few of these crises. Okay. And I remember in 1991 when we invaded Iraq, there was those early scenes on CNN, and they were green and they were hazy and you couldn't quite see them. And you saw our, bombers going off. It was very dramatic. And that's what we had there was no internet, there was no social media. I mean, there was internet, but not like today. So what's really interesting is for me at my age to see the information that's coming out on the ground and to measure it against what we're hearing on the mainstream, which is complete and total propaganda and lies. We all know that. But what's interesting is it's so hard to get honesty. And I want everyone to really be aware that I try so hard, but I don't even know. So we have to use discernment, because this is really important what's happening right now, guys. This is so important. We are living through history in the making. The financial system is collapsing. The societal system is collapsing. We have two humanitarian crises. It isn't just, the media is painting it that Russia's all bad. The people of Russia. This is not the people's war. This is Putin's deal. This is Putin's deal. This is a globalist deal. This is a takeover of the global order. This has been in the works for years and years and years. And the people of Ukraine and Russia, that's the humanitarian crisis. So we can never buy the narrative that the Russians are bad. Bear in mind the people of Russia. The humanitarian crisis there is unparalleled, and we don't even know what's going on.
Well, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm more in line with what Uncle Cliff's saying about all that. And there's a lot more humanitarian crises going on if we include, the Uyghurs and what's
Mm-hmm.
going on in Africa. I mean, there's things going on all over the world that they aren't talking about. So,
Sure.
but
And
our eyes are being drawn to this issue, and then even in that, we're not being told the truth. It's a cover up for what's happening with the dollar.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's what we're trying to focus on is getting people to look at what's happening with the dollar so that they can be protected, regardless of what narrative is being shoved down our throat. We're trying to get,
And
people
I
to
agree,
be
Lisa, with
protected in that.
you. This is such a look here, don't look there, because I believe that they've manufactured this crisis because we were running out of the old crisis. The medical crisis had run its course. Okay. So that wasn't going to work anymore. So they had to usher in another one. This one has to be a little bigger. It has to be a little bit more intense. And what they're going to do is they're going to bring the system down in some way. And I don't know the timing. I wish I knew the timing. I think it started. I feel like we're like if this was a baseball game, we're maybe going to first base race right now.
So we'll talk about this tomorrow on Woo Woo, but a lot of the DS people use these holidays and these dates and astrology and things like that to do these, dark ceremonies and all this kind of stuff. And recently there was I was watching a video about the Georgia Guidestones, and now I'm getting into a bunch of woo, but they were talking about Ted Turner's mother is like this dark cult witch, basically. And I can't remember her name. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows it, but apparently her birthday was like either 322 or 32 something. And they would do these ceremonies on her birthday. So the fact that the thing with Russia's happening on the 11th, I wouldn't be surprised if the 11th wasn't a significant date and or 322, because I believe that's her birthday. And we're going to talk about a bunch of that stuff. I've got some other interesting things about how like World War I, World War II, if you do like the numerology on it, it all adds up to 68. And anyway, we'll do some of that stuff tomorrow.
Right.
But so we don't know the timing of it. I mean, but I think we know it's near,
and I think
322 skull and bones, all of that. Yeah.
The way that I'm kind of rearranging it in my life, I have my physical preps, which is like food and water and everything. I have my physical body. I'm working on getting a little bit stronger, being able to lift something if I need to. So I'm trying to get healthier in that regard. My mental state and my spiritual state. You've got it. We're going to have to get right with God if you're not already right with God, because this is what I feel very intrinsically, Lisa, in my heart. And this is the thing I want to say the most to everybody, especially your audience, because we are all people that walk in the information that we walk in. Okay, let's call it that. We have a connection, and we came here to experience this time. We knew we were going to walk through this, and this is not easy, guys. This is not easy, and you're talking to someone who's been through hell and back. Lisa and I, as Angel Mom, know the depths of despair like none other. This is really, really, really tough what we're going through. And what I want everybody to realize, it's so very important to realize that you're going to feel really tested during this period of time. Please, please, please do what you need to do to take care of yourself, and take some time to get out there, even if it's a little thing to do. Like I like to walk, so I'm a walker. That really refreshes me. It renews me. I'm trying to get a little bit more sleep. I'm trying to check crypto a little less. I mean, little things I'm just trying to do, and it makes a difference because we're going to need it. I don't think if this was a airplane going down the runway, I don't think the wheels have even lifted off the ground yet. I think this is going to be really crazy. And we need all of us to be in the game is what I'm saying. We need everybody to participate.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's that, Holy Spirit moves through us, and that's why community is so important.
Right.
And
So
that's why we're all drawn together, for this
speaking
time.
of community, Lisa, oh my God, I want you to pull up. I had an event I have to share with you guys because this is very positive. The first slide, which is updated guest list. Okay. Okay. So I live in Arizona and I am new here. Well, relatively new. And I met a woman who invited me to this very small, intimate event of politicians, a woman who's running for governor, someone who's running for state senator, the reelection of the treasurer. She's already been reelected. So they had this small event at this house where you sign the petition. Okay, so these are the people that I went to this event. And the reason I wanted to share this with you guys is that when I lived in California, I was invited to, they wanted me to run for the city council. And so I went to a bunch of these political meetings. Oh my God, talk about boring. It was like watching paint dry. I kid you not. So there I was in LA with all these liberals, hostile liberals, boring. I mean, they'd get up there and they'd drone on and on. I thought I was going to die. So that was my experience with going to grassroots. Yeah, this is a little bit more than grassroots because this is at the federal level. So Greg and I went to this event. So we go in and, I'm telling him, listen, we're only going to stay an hour. This thing is going to be boring, but I was invited and I'm just curious as what's going on in Arizona. So we had Karen Taylor, who's running for, these are the Republicans, the Republican governor of Arizona. We had General Mick McGuire, who, wow, he's running for the U.S. Senate. When I say wow, oh my God. Then Kimberly Yee, she's my new best friend. She's being reelected for the Arizona State Treasurer. She's already holds the position. And then Cherie, who, Lisa, I want to get on our show. Okay. She's running for the Superintendent of Public Instruction, which is basically to run the whole school board in the state. We heard these people talk. Now, first of all, we get there. They start with God Bless America. Big flag, everybody stands up. I'm practically already in tears because I'm the biggest sap known to mankind. Hand over the heart, the whole bit. Then Karen Taylor starts, and I'm like, well, I'm voting for Kari Lake. This woman blew me away. You guys, every single one of these persons is in our camp. They were speaking our language, the Constitution, the amendments, the border, the cabal, the, takeover, the treasonous government. I mean, they were using our language, everybody. I sat there and the time went so fast. It went so fast. So what I wanted to tell you guys is that two things. Number one, Lisa, with your approval, I'm going to actually write to all of these people, plus the woman who organized the event. She's a really interesting cat. And I think we could get probably Kimberly on the show. I'd love to get Cherie on the show, and then Dr. Gilda, who organized the event. These are people that are boots on the ground, that are working so hard to hold the line here in Arizona. I think Arizona is a very important state because we're quote unquote kind of purple. And Karen, who I met, who's running for governor, I told her, I said, Karen, what's up with purple? She said, yeah, but we're red at heart. So she had so many impressive things to say. And to be completely honest, she's a far better candidate than Carrie Lake, but I think Carrie Lake is going to win. But here's the deal. I encourage all of you, if you get the chance to get invited to a grassroots,
I've got to step out just for a second. You go ahead, Amy.
Okay. If you get a chance to get invited to, in your community, a grassroots political event, I highly encourage you to go, because what I thought I was going to see is not what I thought I was going to see, not what happened at all. And if any one of these people gets elected, I will promise you that the liberal arm of Arizona, which is pretty much a whole bunch of people that have moved in here, that they're pushing a very liberal agenda, Common Core in schools, many of these things that are dismantling our Constitution and the American freedoms that we've enjoyed. They're going to have their work cut out with any one of these people are going to give them blowback. I was riveted and I did not see it coming, guys. So I'm happy to report on this. And as I said, Lisa, I'm going to see if I can get some of these people, because we seem alone, or like sometimes I feel like, have we lost the fight? You know, have we lost our freedoms? And we haven't.
No, that's exciting to hear that there's so many more than just what you're seeing on, out in the front, that there's rows of warriors behind them,
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's exciting.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, Lisa, I will reach out to some of these people. I mean, I'd love to get General Mick McGuire. He's a fighter pilot. He served the first tour in Iraq in '91. I mean, this man is decorated, and
Awesome.
he's a rock star. So I will go ahead and write to all of them and see what I can do for us.
Awesome. Very exciting.
So our second one, Ron DeSantis. It was really funny because I was on Twitter just a minute ago and Ben posted this, and I was laughing because I thought, how much alike we all are. This is how important, you guys, government at the state level is becoming, and this is what was the theme of the event I went to. We have been duped into thinking the federal government has all this control and they've kind of usurped it. And then what we're realizing constitutionally, as you guys know from the show, that's not how it was written. That's not the roadmap. That's not our deal. It's at the state level. Let's listen to what Ron DeSantis, how he's taking control, because he's fantastic. And we need more like him at the state level. And I love this. And I thought it was such a great display of saying, you know what, bullshit. We're not taking your bullshit anymore. So at least if you want to start that.
Does it say that in the bill? Does it say that in the bill? I'm asking you to tell me what's in the bill, because you are pushing false narratives. It doesn't matter what critics say.
Well, it says it bans classroom instruction on sexual identity and gender orientation.
For who? For grades pre-K through 3. So 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And the idea that you wouldn't be honest about that and tell people what it actually says, it's why people don't trust people like you, because you peddle false narratives. And so we disabuse you of those narratives. And we're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
Nice.
So it's kind of hard to hear, but he's saying in the background, what's the other guy saying? Something about...
So one of the reporters, Lisa, was asking about a bill they're trying to pass about evidently some liberal education program for the 3 to 5-year-olds. And oh, by the way, this woman, Cherie, who's running for school board superintendent, boy, did she talk about that. As you guys know, I have a really hard time talking about, we're going to call them the little people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
she brought books. I've seen these books. I can't look at them because I get too disturbed. Okay. But there's books for little people in the liberal agenda that teach things that are sexually explicit to little people in these books.
Yeah, I've seen some of these school board meetings where the adults are uncomfortable with the other adults reading the content of these books to them in the meeting. And they're like, no. If you're uncomfortable with me reading it to you in a meeting, then why are you comfortable with an adult teaching my child this in a classroom?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so evidently what this woman said, and I don't want to get off on a school board thing, but you got to understand when the indoctrination takes place at the earliest level, they are teaching the liberal left agenda now, starting with 3-year-olds, is you can present as a boy, you can present as a girl, you can present as a cat. You can learn about advanced sexual things that little children should not be being taught in school. I mean, there's this whole Common Core. I mean, it is out of control, and we have to bring back and take back our education system. Lisa, you know this better than anybody with what you've been going through with Canon. I started to see it with my son in the early 90s in Los Angeles Unified School District. He would come home and start to tell me that he had rights. He goes, Mom, I don't have to clean up my room because my teacher said I have rights. I'm like, well, actually you don't,
Actually,
but
yeah.
it was the beginning of, I had never heard such nonsense in my life. So what I'm telling you guys is we are attacking it on all fronts because it starts in the classroom and we've got to nip it in the butt there. And what I liked about DeSantis is that reporter was talking about something that was being implanted in the school board bill. And he said, where is it? But the way he addressed it, he wanted facts. He said, what bill is it in? You're making this up. And this is what the media has been complicit in for years and years and years. And this is why we have the normies so messed up.
And he made him say the whole statement. He said, yes. And what are you leaving out? Which parts are you leaving out for, these age groups, whatever. Yeah. That's what's important, is that they'll give you, they'll cherry pick what parts of the story they want to tell. Like Psaki talking about the Keystone Pipeline lately has been just mind-boggling. I mean, the lack of clear information that she's been giving has been incredible.
Well, you got to understand, coming out of the Biden White House, it's just lies. I mean, it is absolute and total lies. I mean, if Biden's mouth is open, a lie is coming out. I mean, it's insulting to me.
Yeah. Well, I hope that other people are just as insulted.
But when we take governors and they start calling out the press like that, that's what needs to happen. And I loved it.
Yeah, that's great. That was really great.
I thought it was really, really great. So Lisa, we have someone that we can't really talk about. The reason I wanted to show this, and I'm just going to skirt around it because it was I think it was an important message, but I'm going to give it without giving anything that's going to red flag anything. We can't understand what's happening right now, you guys, unless we go back into history. We can't know what's happening going forward unless we look back, because what's happening right now, fiscally, politically, historically, has been in the works for over 150 years. So I came across something very interesting, and I can't show it because Lisa, we want to keep Lisa on the air. I didn't realize it was a no-no. Bottom line is I found a gentleman who was born in the 1800s, and his name was Rudolf Steiner. He's evidently the founder of the Waldorf school system. Lisa, have you ever heard of the Waldorf school system? Okay. But he wrote a report about this, and this was like at the turn of the century, about how it would steal your soul and that how it was coming. And it was literally detailing what we have today. And I was going to show that to you guys, because once you understand how far back this goes, I think it helps you frame up. The media and our government want to make it look like that they're saving us from this problem, the boogeyman that just came out of nowhere. It's always a crisis du jour, always a crisis, and they're always ushering in the solution. No, this has been planned, you guys. It has been well planned. And when you go back and you look at the beginnings of education, the Waldorf school system has some very good things. I'm not knocking it, but you've got to understand the roots of it are in communism and fascism. And it's very, very, very scary. I did not realize that, because I looked at all those school systems when my son was growing up, and I didn't realize that those were the earliest indoctrination camps. I didn't know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have, thankfully with blockchain now, blockchain technology and things like Odyssey, projects like that, where we can actually capture truth, we'll have a truer history or truer vision of what history is in the future. And so that, I think that brings a lot of hope as well for the future.
Yeah, because you guys, we have a whole generation. I mean, unless you're older, you don't even, so I feel sorry for some of these young kids. They just don't understand what's happening right now. They know nothing. And that was something they talked about very heavily on Saturday, was that every child in every school system should have a hard copy of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. I fully agree with that. They don't even know that there exists, one even exists, because
Right.
they're not teaching it in school.
No, and remember that was part of Trump's plan, the 1776. Where did I put that? I think it's in my notes. Where did I put it? What did they call it? See, even I forgot. That was part of his 1776, whatever was his school plan, was that children would learn, the true history of America and would learn the Constitution. And now I'll have to use my search method, but I have like a whole copy of it. The commission, President's Advisory, 1776 final report. Let's see here.
Well, you'd be amazed at how many parents want to bring this back. I thought, maybe it was just a small bunch of the older, people that want to bring it back. The young people want this. They don't even understand, but they want it. They intuitively know that something's wrong. And when the system comes down, the financial system, the powers that be are going to say, oh, sorry, it's not our fault. It was the war. It was the gas, we couldn't get from Russia, and all these cover-ups. We cannot allow that to happen. We have to tell the truth about what is really happening.
Yeah, this is the whole report. Oh, well, I don't have the whole report on this one. I'm sorry. I just have the picture on this one. Okay. So I've got and then I have a link to it in my other one. I'll find the report and I'll post it for my patrons after the show, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, they're teaching. There's a whole plan for teaching the youth about our true history and then the Constitution, Bill of Rights, all of it. Yeah. It's really exciting.
So it's so important. And if we don't keep talking about it, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. And it's really cool. Tom start saying, respect the flag, start saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So in our community, we meet one day a week where we learn all of our curriculum that then the parents teach however you want to, throughout the week or whatever, what works for your family. And every day we start the day with saying a pledge allegiance to the flag. We say a pledge allegiance to the Christian flag, and we say pledge allegiance to the Bible. And it's just like so refreshing
Oh,
to
Lisa.
see everybody takes their hat off, and
Yep.
each family takes turns holding, the kids hold the flag, and they learn to hold the American flag higher, and when it's time to say the American flag, the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, it's like, oh, the world is right again for, a few
Yeah.
hours.
Exactly. Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. And it was so powerful at this little event when we stood up, and then they had a woman who sang, and we sang God Bless America. I've forgotten about that song. It's been so long.
Wow.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I felt after just singing that song, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I just felt like I'd come home or something,
Yeah.
Now I want to talk, Lisa. We're going to switch gears here, guys.
Sure.
Talking about something un-American or very American, the IRS. When we did the show a couple of weeks ago, I don't think we got to the portion of the IRS was talking about they had instituted this facial recognition thing in order to file your taxes.
Right. They had canceled that.
They canceled it, right? Which is very interesting because I'm like, why did they cancel that? Did they get blowback? I mean, very interesting. So then, Lisa, you sent me this article.
Oh, yeah, the Washington Street Journal article.
Yeah,
They had gotten audited.
Right. Now, before you start that,
Okay.
I looked up the guy that is running this program, J. Russell George, slide number 8. Let's take a look at him first.
Okay.
And then, because I do think, guys, stuff with the IRS is very important because we're at kind of a point with them. And they could either overstep their boundary. I guess Biden is trying to hire like 80,000 IRS agents. I don't know what he's thinking, where he's going to get 80,000 people that know how to do an audit. But that's what he's thinking.
What, their computers from the 60s?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But this cat here, he is, I guess, president. He's an American attorney, and he's serving as the Treasury Inspector General for the tax administration at the IRS. That's a mouthful. He's an American attorney, and he's serving or has served since 2004. I think he's still serving. That's what I understand. As the Treasury Inspector General for the tax administration at the IRS. Now, Lisa, so this is his little Investopedia bio. So I checked him out to see what his story is. So he was written about in the Wall Street Journal. And if you want to swing back to that article.
So he's from Harvard. That's concerning.
Very concerning. Oh, yeah. He's got the pedigree. He's got
Talk about skull and bones. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, he's got the cabal the cabal background. But you know what? Let's give him a pass.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But the Wall Street Journal, which is a very liberal publication, but they have some interesting stuff.
Okay.
Evidently, Lisa. Well, first of all, before I start on this, you sent me this. What was I want to get your thoughts on what was in your head.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember because this was like last week. I just know that. Oh, this was about them kind of getting called out. Actually, about this was back when about them, like, are they favoring big business? What's her name? Pocahontas was saying that, oh, big businesses, don't have to pay and blah, blah, blah. And so they were saying that, they were trying to do this inquiries about, and they were going to say that so here's one thing I didn't know. Whistleblowers actually get the money or a portion of the money when they turn people in.
Okay.
To SEC and IRS. I think that's right. I have to go back and read this.
Do they actually get the money?
They get a portion of it.
Okay.
So in this article, it talks about it. It says, it says it's unclear how the TIGTA, which is this
Yeah, so that's an acronym
for the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration,
yeah.
will be received within the IRS. So that's the audit part, which are, let's see, regularly audit large companies and deep into litigation against several of them, including Facebook, Meta, Platform, Eaton Corp, Coca-Cola, and Whirlpool. The companies generally have defended their transactions following the law. Then it goes on to talk about IRS declined to comment on the audit, but said agency follow federal conflict of interest rules. IRS employees are bound by law and regulations that bar them from participating in matters that could affect their financial interest or raise questions about their impartiality.
You think?
Yeah. The Inspector General's audit was welcomed by whistleblower attorneys who said it would hope for greater collaboration between the agency and their clients in cases involving multinational companies that use complex tax avoidance structures or transactions that are difficult for the IRS to spot without insider knowledge. And it goes on to talk about the whistleblower program perceived among the industry as less effective than comparable programs in the Securities and the Justice Department. These provide whistleblowers who provide useful information to the agencies a cut of money recovered by the government.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe they're saying the SEC and the Justice get a cut of money and the IRS whistleblowers don't. Maybe I misspoke that. Yeah, so no, I take that back. So here it clarifies.
Yeah.
SEC and IRS programs have each awarded roughly $1 billion to whistleblowers since their inception, according to annual reports. But the IRS program is 3 years older. Okay. Then they go into conflict of interest, blah, blah, blah. Overlaps with requests by members of Congress. Oh, then it goes into, here goes Elizabeth Warren sending letters to large accounting firms for information about employees who had rotated in and out of government positions.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the IRS is like a revolving door. And I will tell you this. I got to say this because I have firsthand knowledge. You guys know I owned a couple of staffing agencies. I got audited every other year, whether I needed it or not. I swear to God, they thought I was going to be the next Martha Stewart of Santa Monica. So I've been through many, many state and federal audits, to which I've won every single one. And in fact, overpaid taxes. I'm just saying. So I've been through them. I can honestly say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, the auditors are dumb as rocks. Like, they don't understand basic finance. Like, I was always shocked. I kept thinking, well, maybe we'll get a smart auditor so we can get through this quickly. And then what happened was, after the audit, they said they had never seen accountings as clean as my company. Like, they said, for a small business, you're amazing. Then get this, they tried to recruit my accountant. They said, will you come work for us?
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God, they said, you're so smart. You know so much. Will you come work for us?
Wow.
So what I'm saying, you guys, is that I have a lot of heartburn with the IRS on many different levels. And one of the reasons I was happy to see this, Lisa, is to kind of track. We can't turn our back on the IRS. And the deal is that with crypto gains coming in, wow, is it a tricky one? And I would encourage, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not giving advice, but please, you're better off to pay a little bit more than get a little back than to get in hot water with them, because we don't know if we move more into a socialist environment and they hire more aggressive people. they may not care so much about IRS law, and they just might get very aggressive. And now that we know that they'll seize bank accounts, they won't hesitate to shut down your credit cards. And they don't even follow the law. Like, they're not even following the law when they're shutting down these bank accounts and seizing money. I saw a thing on YouTube where a gentleman, very well-to-do gentleman with a high FICO score, no debt, no history of revolving debt, they froze his bank account because of inactivity. He just didn't have a lot of money coming in and out of the bank account. This was a big bank. And he gets a letter one day and they said, "Oh, we've frozen your funds because of inactivity." So he calls the bank. What is inactivity? It just means he doesn't use that account very much. He's a wealthy guy. He's got
strange.
So what I'm saying, you guys, is that
Yeah.
keep your eye, and Lisa and I will continue to report in on these things. Now, here, this is a corporate thing.
Yeah, I think they are talking about corporate things. I just thought it was really interesting to have the eye being turned back on,
Corporate.
the inspector,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
they're being investigated. None of this is financial advice, but if you are looking for people to help you with financial advice, there are financial advisors over in Capital, Viva Capital, and through the Crypto Confidential, and you can get those resources. And that's one of the things, like, as we're getting into this stuff and we're looking at, you guys, we still are so early when we're talking about what Amy and I opened the show with, where, they stopped trading nickel today, and because it went up so abruptly. And then, don't even kid yourself, silver's next, and we all know it.
Yeah.
And crypto is right behind that, because all these things are going to be, not able to deliver, and people are looking for things to put their wealth into. They're leaving the dollar, and we see that. And if you're looking for those ways to do things legally to protect your wealth and protect your asset, you need those tools to do that. You need that information.
Right.
And, we've been in this since Nana introduced us to what was happening in the financial system, and red pilled us and gave us Litecoin as a gift in 2017. And, we've learned a lot of hard lessons. And if I had had the kind of resources that Crypto Confidential brought us at the beginning, like,
Yeah.
we would have been ahead of the game. And so that's why I really want to share it with the community, the resources and tools. So there's a link in the description. You can copy and paste it. I posted it as a banner going across the bottom. There's also information about our upcoming meetup here in Oklahoma City. We're going to be meeting at the Wilshire Gun Club on March 25th, which is Litecoin Day. It's the 84th day of the year. Had a guy stop Cannon and I at the stoplight on the way home from school today. He's like, "Hey, is your car tag mean Litecoin?" And I said, "It absolutely does." And I invited him to the meetup. So if you're watching, I hope you join us at the meetup. I told him, it's free meetup there on March 25th. And then we're going to have bitcoinday.io on the 26th. There is a fee for that, but you can use my code Lisa, Lisa, to get 10% off your ticket for Bitcoin Day on March 26th. And we're going to have a great weekend. So I'm looking forward to it. We're trying to drag Nana to Oklahoma City. Hopefully she'll come and see everybody. So,
And you guys really, really take advantage of all this information with your normie friends, because the herd hasn't even gotten here yet, guys. I mean, we're not even at a $2 trillion market cap right now. You know what I mean? And when we're starting to see what's happening with commodities spiking, see, right now, there's a lot of fear trades going on, and people are running into the dollar. They're still running into bonds and treasuries. They don't know. That's the old school way of thinking. That's what traditionally you did when things got rocky. That's not where you want to be right now. So what's going to happen is money doesn't go to money heaven. And what's it's going to do is there's going to be a massive trade out of stocks, treasuries, commodities, when things get really rocky and people are going to start to see through inflation, they can't hold dollars. You guys all know this. And then there's going to be a massive liquidity exit. And they're going to come into three things. Three things. You guys know what they are: gold, silver, crypto, because those are the only hard assets left. Yeah, copper and maybe some of these other commodities too. And the point is that you're going to have a lot of friends. You're going to have a lot of normies. They don't know what is going on. They won't know what is happening. So please have some of Lisa's resources. People love it when, hey, let me text you this information. Because like we all noticed, they're going to come running to you, and you can't be holding everybody's hand. Everybody can't be holding everybody's hand.
Right.
Send them to, the websites of people that have courses and are teaching all of this. I think Jean-Claude and Snippy have one. I mean,
Well, that's the other thing. You can join my Patreon, Down the Rabbit Hole with
Okay.
Lisa, and we are doing monthly classes. We've got, and I've started putting them in, sorting them for people so you can go back and find them. We've done wallets with Westwood. We've got a DeFi with Johnny.
Okay.
We're doing a play to earn class with Sean. We've got an NFT class coming up with Mame.
Beautiful.
And we're going to build more and more on there and just keep adding to it so that we've got resources for people to go on there and that they can learn. I'm going to do a kind of a basic, what is money, Bitcoin for beginners kind of thing, just to have those resources. And that'll be on the Down the Rabbit Hole with Lisa on my Patreon, which is my base membership level. And that's also where, as I research all week long and I'm finding different resources, you're also getting all that content, as well as being able to message me privately. And I check those messages daily. And you also get invited to things and have opportunities. Like we're going to have an opportunity for a VIP event at the meetups that we do with Westwood and I as we travel. So you'll have additional opportunities because you're a member on that level. So,
and this is such
opportunities.
Lisa, such a beautiful thing about the community. I mean, I agree with you because, I got in shortly after you, because Elisa, she pushed me in. And I mean, it was rough in the early days. If you're not technical, it was really rough. And now this is like gifts, having like Lisa's Patreon and all the resources available on YouTube, whatever. Go there and then keep the link and just know you're going to have to pass it on, because great. That's fantastic, because people are going to panic. What's going to happen is they're not going to understand what's happening. They're not going to know. And they're just going to know that one day they're going to go to the bank and the ATM is not going to working, or, gas is now $10 a gallon, and this is really going to be a humanitarian crisis. And if we can provide information and give them solutions, they're going to need it, because crypto is the end game, the long-term end game.
Absolutely. And that's what we just want. I want to be there for people as we transition. And there's going to be an opportunity for generational wealth over these next probably year and a half to 2 years. At some point, it will normalize, and that window will kind of close, and you'll be spending your crypto like we used to spend our dollars. But right now, there's an opportunity, like I said, for exponential generational wealth. And everyone that's watching this now, I think understands it, and you guys get it. Hopefully there's new people watching and listening, and you are here and you're at the right time. You just need the right tools, and you need to, make the right choices and invest in yourself and the time. And so hopefully you guys can share these videos with your friends that are just getting into crypto, that see the light at the end of the tunnel, that see what's happening right now, that know that, all this information that we're sharing with you, what's happening in Russia, with them going back to the gold, backing the ruble with gold, with them stopping being their citizens from buying foreign currency. This is happening. We're sharing all this information. Also, please go watch the video that we did yesterday with Omar. that will give you a bigger picture on a broader scale of what's happening in the world with banks. I thought that was really had great information. Amy, thank you so much. Once again, you had a lot of great research, and I appreciate all the work that you put into this and really enjoy doing the show with you. So
Yeah, I do too, Lisa, and thank you. And I am always thinking about everybody right now, and I always send out, like kind of like a massive prayer, because it's hard. I mean, this is a hard time, but we chose to come here,
yeah,
and I do believe that we can rewrite the new America, because I think the system's coming down, guys. I think it's coming down. I don't know the timing, and I wish I did, but I don't. But I think it's already started.
yeah, I think the timing is now. We just don't know how long it's gonna take, but we're in it. Yeah, and we
Yeah.
can help each other. So that's
Yeah,
the
and
best.
and make no mistake about it, the bad guys, they're not going to go down without a fight. Trust me. Be prepared to see anything. They will pull out all the stops.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you again. And thanks to everybody in the comments. You guys always, if you're watching this on the replay, please watch the live chat. We have brilliant people in our community that are sharing a lot of great information as well. Thanks everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow on Woo Woo Wednesday. Take care.